evening, Cougar fans, and welcome to the beautiful South Field here on the campus of Brigham Young University. Tonight we have an exciting game between your BYU Cougars and FC Tucson. Well, that was an exciting game, Alfie. A penalty kick and goals during the run of play means that BYU conceded the game 2-1. But it really was exciting, Alfie. What were some of the main keys that you got out of last night's match?
You know, both the BYU Cougars and FC Tucson, they were keeping the ball a lot, especially the BYU Cougars. But unfortunately, the Cougars in the final third just couldn't find the back of the net. That was the major difference I saw with FC Tucson. They found the back of the net, and that's why it was 2-1 at the end.
That's Alfie Gallegos, your color commentator for tonight's match. My name's Carla Swenson-Haslam, and again, we're excited to be here because this is a big revenge game for the Cougars. The two teams, very intense. It even got emotional. A lot of yellow cards going on last night. FC Tucson has already won the division, but BYU still has a lot to play for.
For sure. You know, I think the major thing that the Cougars are playing for is respect. You know, not to get that bottom position or whatnot. They're playing for respect, and obviously they want to show FC Tucson they have that they have soccer and that they can win. So I think it's a lot of respect for the Cougars.
Definitely some key players from last night's match. Number 12, Perez, the striker for FC Tucson, with 9 goals, leads his team, was able to find the back of the net. But the Cougars also had some highlights of their own.
For sure, we have Christian Toller, you know, the big number 10. He's had 4 goals throughout this season, as well as with Connor Fordham. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see Christian Toller play today. He's a little injured. He's a little knocked up from last night's game. Unfortunately, we're not going to have him in the attack today. But you know, it should still be interesting with Josh and someone else up top, you know.
Well, definitely has been difficult for both teams to try to stay healthy. Head coach Brandon Gillum for the Cougars was telling me just earlier today that injuries are a huge part of the game and play a huge part. But it should be a fun one. And we'll catch you back here in Southfield at kickoff, as it'll be BYU's senior night. Welcome back, Cougar fans. We are just about to begin what will be the last season game for BYU soccer here in the PDL. I'm Carla Swenson-Haslam. I'm here with Alfie Gallegos.
Yep.
Alfie, you have quite a resume behind you, an excellent soccer player, a member of the BYU soccer team. You know, tell us, what can we predict for this game coming up?
You know, I think the same as yesterday, a lot of give and goes, a lot of keeping the ball, a lot of direct passing, especially from Tucson. You know, they like to go direct. They like to find their forwards. The Cougars, they like to keep a little bit of possession and little by little move up the field. So we'll see that from both teams. So hopefully we see more goals than we saw yesterday.
Definitely, and that was one of the things you talked about in the pregame show, Alfie, is that Cougars, while they had their opportunities, just couldn't finish in the attacking third.
Yeah, they just couldn't find the back of the net. Unlucky, you know. They would get close, but just couldn't find the back of the net. And some nights, soccer players, you just can't find the back of the net. It's not your night. So the Cougars saw that yesterday, and fortunately, the Tucson players found the back of the net, and that's what made the difference.
Well, in Tucson, definitely putting up a good defense. We're going to see a lot of the same players playing in tonight's match. A few differences here and there, such as FC Tucson's goalkeeper tonight is going to be by Barasa. Barasa is going to be followed by a defensive line of Herrera, Van Alstine, and Pineda, who are in front of them playing a 3-5-2. In the midfield, you're going to have Perez, Partida, Ferrer, Poster, Hargendingi, and then up top, we cannot forget Alfie, Hort Georges, and Schmidt wearing the captain's band. Very talented player, created a lot of opportunities,
sure.
Didn't find the back of the net. But if you wouldn't mind, Alfie, telling us what will be the starting lineup for our Cougars tonight.
For sure, it looks a lot like the FC Tucson lineup. It's a 3-5-2. But in goal, we're having senior Trevor Lucier, who will be starting today, his last BYU official game for him. Should be interesting, as well as Junior Larte at the right back with Mitchell Scott and Matthew Kurtz. In the midfield, we'll have Connor Fordham, Seth Fankhauser, Tanner Whitworth, and Taylor Fankhauser, Seth Fankhauser's brother, and Pemberton on the right side. And up front, Jacob Miles with Josh Hunters, who also is his senior night. Hopefully gets a goal as you know, as a senior night gift.
Now, Alfie, you still have a couple years here with the team, but if you wouldn't mind telling us, you know, what are the emotions that are going through some of these seniors' heads as they know that this will be the last time that they play here at Southfield?
Yeah, funny you asked that question because I was just talking to Josh. He's one of my good buddies. I've roomed with him And I was just talking to him. I was like, what's going on through your head right now? How do you feel being at your last game as a BYU Cougar? I asked him, did you cry? Or are you going to cry? He's like, oh, trust me, I've cried so much. Hopefully you get that feeling too when you're a senior. And, it's going to be an emotional night for these 3 seniors, and hopefully they get a win as their senior night gift.
No, definitely. We see that now as the families on your screen, as the families are clapping for their loved ones who have played an excellent 4 years of soccer. BYU is unique in the PDL in that they're the only university to play. And even more unique, they have a group of players that all serve LDS missions, which means that they leave and travel to a different state or a different country for 2 years and then come back and just jump into the semi-professional league.
Yeah, it's hard for an LDS man to do that, to go 2 years. You have no idea where you're going to go and serve, and then come back into that soccer rhythm, especially in the PDL level. It's hard. So obviously it's a lot of respect for these 3 young men, and I know them all personally, and they're all great. They're all great. I look up to all of them, and I'm sure going to miss them next year.
No, definitely. And it makes her interesting. Not only are they worried about trying to win as many games, but they're worried about keeping their grades up, trying to keep a social life going on. So definitely an interesting team here, one to be honored and recognized for just the success they've had this season. The Cougars started off really strong, getting a bunch of wins, even beating this FC Tucson, who last night won the division championship in the PDL. Since then, they kind of fell into a slump, but they're making a rebound.
Yeah. FC Tucson is a great team. It's a great team. They have great players. So, it's no surprise they were champions of this division. But, the Cougars, they've just had an unlucky season. They, like you said, Carla, they started off super well, had a little slump in the middle and right now as well. But I was talking to some of our team members, and obviously that doesn't reflect who we are. The standings don't reflect who we are as a team. The Cougars deserve more than that, and hopefully we see that tonight.
Definitely, definitely. Well, that's the voice of Alfie Gallegos here, who is currently a player on the team, but has been injured with the meniscus, correct?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, just tore my meniscus a few weeks ago, and I'll hopefully get better before Taiwan. So.
And does that take surgery, or how do you?
No, so I've been working with my trainer, Denise. She's been helping me a lot to not go through surgery. So if it keeps bugging me after Taiwan, then we'll talk about surgery, but right now.
Well, explain to us. You're going to Taiwan. What is this for?
This is for we're going to play the World University Games. We're all going to represent the United States, so it should be an exciting and interesting experience for all of us as BYU Cougars. And the reason for that is, we're the only university team that isn't, men's team who doesn't play NCAA, and so we'll have that wonderful opportunity while all the other college players are in their college season. We'll be able to represent the United States, so it should be an interesting and exciting experience.
Definitely, and speaking of experience, you see on your screen Josh Hunter, who will take the starting position for tonight's game. Josh is one of those players that has been here for a long time. He has scored a lot of goals. He's excellent on the set pieces. Tell us a little bit about what's going to be missed next year.
A lot of speed. Josh is known for a lot of speed. In practice, sometimes 2 of us have to cover him. He's a really fast player. He's also very dedicated to this team. He's always telling every one of us, push yourselves. This can be your last game. You never know when your last game is going to be. So we're going to miss that. A lot of dedication from Josh Hunter, a lot of passion from him.
Well, and I'm no doubt that we'll see that sort of passion in tonight's game. Again, we welcome those that are tuning in with us, whether you be here or at South Field. If you're from Tucson, we're glad that you're here. We'd like to hear your thoughts. Be sure to comment on BYU's Facebook or Twitter, as well as our own here at Carlos Swenson-Halsum or Alfie Gallegos. And we want to hear what you're saying. If you watched the pregame show, you saw that Alfie and I are sweating. It is so incredibly hot here today in Utah, and it's humid. A lot of the boys on the BYU Cougars have been working the youth summer camps all day, so they're a bit sunburned. Alfie and I are very sunburned and very sweaty. But how does that heat affect the game, if it does at all?
I think it's a little bit of dehydration some players might get, especially for the Cougars. Some of them have been working those sports camps. So some of them are tired from having those sports camps that run almost all day long. Wake up really, really early. So some of the Cougars might be a little bit tired. But hopefully, Tucson, Well, I think Arizona's pretty hot, so they might be a little bit used to this weather. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, definitely warm in Tucson as well, getting into the 100s. But it should be an interesting match. Last night, for those who didn't watch, the emotions are running really high. A couple guys shoving each other. There were a lot of calls from the referee. There were multiple yellow cards being given out to each other. After the game, some of the players that were injured from both teams came up and shoved the other. So you can tell that the emotions were running high. Both coaches saying that their job is to just keep everyone cool and level-headed. Do you expect that same sort of passion and intensity tonight?
For sure, like I said, especially from the Cougars, they have nothing to lose, so they obviously want to end the season with a good note, with a great note, hopefully getting a win. So there's going to be a lot of passion from the Cougars. Tucson's they're going to be a little bit more relaxed, but obviously they're also getting ready for the playoffs. So obviously they want to show that passion as well. They just don't want to give it easy for the Cougars. They want to get ready for the playoffs.
Tucson with a record of 8-2-2, and your BYU Cougars with 4 wins this season and 5 losses and 4 ties. So they've been able to get some points, but you're right, when it comes to some of those tied games, just miss out on opportunities.
Yeah. Those 1-point ties, cost you, and a lot of times we've been up. Last week we were up 2-0 and ended up tying. You can't have that in soccer, especially if you're fighting for a playoff position, and it's sometimes unlucky. Soccer's unlucky sometimes, but that's the beauty of the game. You just never know how it's going to end.
And as we prepare for kickoff here, Tucson will take it by kicking it back into their midfield. Tucson in the red kits. BYU wearing navy blue. As again, this will be their final match of the season. And while they didn't qualify to go on to the next playoffs, the next round, they had a much better season than they did last year or the year prior.
Yeah, for sure. And so this year we can see how the team's progressed, how it's gotten better, especially from last year. So it'll be an interesting game again tonight.
Barraza is going to take the ball. He's going to send it to the midfield, but BYU midfielders are there to take it. Connor Fordham's going to try to play it back. And Whitworth with the crazy hairstyle, is that a new thing?
No, his wife cuts his hair, so.
Well, we hope she's here at the game and not listening to us, right? This will be the first foul of the game. And again, for those who watched yesterday, this is just a trend over and over and over. We'll see it here on the replay. Yep, gets his feet taken up right from under, and Peyton Pemberton leaves the ground. You can tell he's still in a little bit of pain. But I imagine Tucson's just trying to set the rhythm, trying to get that physical mentality out there.
Yeah, for sure. They want to make it clear for the Cougars it's not going to be an easy game tonight.
Junior Latte is going to be subbed out. Junior, who's usually a starter, and we've even nicknamed the Wall because he's such a great defensive presence, has been having some concussion issues. He's been showing signs of concussions.
Yeah.
So he's going to be taken out, but Coach Gillum wanted to give him a few minutes here and there just to start his senior night. Subbing in for Larte is going to be Keone Capisi, Samoan national team member, and a shot's going to be taken off. Good way to start the match with a shot right on goal.
For sure. Cougars want to get on that scoreboard as soon as they can.
And Barraza, a great job reading it, going horizontal to get that ball. It's now going to be a Tucson goal kick.
It's going to be super interesting to see those Fankhauser brothers play in the midfield. They combine super well together, so we'll hopefully see that tonight. Those good combinations from both the Fankhauser brothers.
And there they are now working together. Fankhauser going to send a ball along to Jacob Miles, who is called offsides. Tucson happy to switch the field to Herrera, who played an excellent game yesterday, able to find a lot of space for his teammates. And excellent in distributing as well. Tucson's going to play it through the midfield to Ferrer,
Good read.
who also got some good minutes. Fordham now to get the ball. Little bit of miscommunication between Whitworth and Kurtz. I think Kurtz thought that it was going to Connor. Val Alstein is going to find Pineda. And the tallest man on the field, Hargendingy. He's got a physical presence out there, and he's not afraid to use his body to get the ball.
Yeah, we saw that last night. Super physical guy.
And the Cougars at this point just trying to develop a rhythm. I imagine, Alfie, that the first 5 minutes sometimes can be hectic because you don't know the team you're playing that well, but how is this game unique in that they played Tucson yesterday, right? So you would imagine the rhythm would be the same.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you know, with different players, I think, you know, Coach Gilliam just rotated some few players around. So we'll see, obviously, different combinations because not all the players play the same. So it's just going to be a little bit interesting, especially with Seth in the midfield. You know, Jesse did an awesome job yesterday, awesome play. But Seth, he just shows something a little bit more different than Jesse. You know, Jesse's a little bit more direct, more attacking minded, while Seth, he's a little bit, you know, he likes to keep the ball a little bit more combined, give and go. So we'll see a little bit more of that with Seth.
Another difference from yesterday's starting lineup is Jacob Miles up top.
Yes, he's a great forward. Obviously, we unfortunately didn't see him play last night, but he's a great player, great technical player, has awesome dribbling skills. So it'll be exciting to see him whenever he touches the ball.
BYU's going to play it around their defense. Try to develop some sort of possession. Goalkeeper Trevor Lesieur looking up to see if he can find anybody, but decides to find the Las Vegas native Kurtz. And they're going to lose it in the midfield to Tucson. Tucson's going to try to play a long ball to Partida.
Good tackle. You okay?
Connor Fordham laying on the ground in a well-timed tackle, but taking a little bit of time to come up. I imagine that doesn't feel very good. You're seeing it on your replay now. Partida kind of fell on him a bit.
It's a good tackle, though. Good tackle.
And it's so exciting to see someone like Connor Fordham, who maybe isn't the tallest guy in the field, but totally willing to go in for a slide tackle or to man someone up.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Connor's very aggressive. You know, his complexion might not show that, but he obviously isn't afraid to go in for those 50-50s. Great defender.
Tucson's going to move it around. Hargendingy up, and that is going to be just wide. Hargendingy.
Talked about his physical presence, using those long legs.
That's exactly what we saw there. Not afraid to take a player on 1v1. I hate to say it, Alfie, but I thought that was going to be a goal there.
Yeah.
I was ready to call it, but just inches from the post, using the outside of his foot to try to get anything around the keeper.
So close.
Formation for both these teams calls for a high-pressure style of soccer, and we see it for both. That'll be a foul on Tucson, BYU ball. But that high pressure changes the style of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. You know, players, obviously, when you're high pressing, obviously you get a little bit more nervous, and we can see that.
Tucson with the ball. Tucson at the top of the box. Captain Schmidt is going to look to pass it around as the ref also goes flying. Both teams. Schmidt probably being a little too selfless there. Probably should have shot it on top of the box, but he's going to try to find his teammate. Jacob Miles is going to try to find Finkhauser.
Good turn.
And they're going to pass it around. What'll be on the top of the box? The ref says play on. And then Tucson on the counter here. But there's a sea of blue jerseys in front of him.
Great recovery from the Cougars.
Long ball's going to be sent to Connor Fordham. Yesterday, it seemed that Connor Fordham and Peyton Pemberton were wide open. Now Jacob Miles is going to fall around the ball, and the ref's going to call it. Seems to be just right outside of the 18-yard box. Yesterday, the Cougars had an opportunity in this exact same position.
They did.
Hit the wall. If you're in this type of position, taking this free kick on goal, you're in the 10th minute, what do you do, Alfie?
Oh, it's kind of complicated, you know. My first thing would be, you know, hitting it low, because obviously players are always gonna jump. They obviously expect that high ball. But if I were I would just try to hit it low and with a lot of pace. So we'll see what Josh does here.
Because we were talking about it yesterday when they had this free kick, that you can often tell how dangerous a free kick is by how many people the keeper puts in the wall. And we see here they have 5. They've added another one. Josh Hunter's going to take the ball. Hunter to put it up. Hunter's going to get a curve.
Ooh.
Barasa dives to get that. Gets his paws on it. But Josh Hunter putting a pretty curve on that thing. Bankhauser now is going to have the ball. He's going to pass it out to Fordham. Fordham looking up to get a cross. Tucson to slide in to get it out of there, but there were BYU players ready to get on the end of that ball.
Yeah, we can see both teams just playing that high pressure. You know, they're playing high pressure, so we're gonna see a lot of here and there going back and forth with both teams. So
a long ball is gonna be sent to Jacob Miles. He's gonna try to keep it in, but it'll be a Tucson goal kick. Again, we welcome all those that are joining with us. It's the 11th minute, still 0-0, still 0 shots on goal, 0 corner kicks, a few fouls here and there, but still nothing too dangerous for either team. BYU with an opportunity early in the first half, but since then is still looking.
yeah, there's a lot of fights in the midfield. So.
Well, both teams have 5 people.
Yeah.
Imagine it gets pretty congested. During the game yesterday, we heard BYU's coaching staff yelling, telling them, go wide, go wide. Connor and Peyton are wide open.
Yeah, especially with the 3-5-2 formation. Those wide midfield players need to find that space in order to get the ball and attack. So.
Well, and as Tucson got 2 goals up, you could tell they just started to make it more and more crowded.
Yeah.
Jacob Miles is going to try to turn with it, but loses it. FC Tucson now is going to take it. BYU doing a good job defending it, making it as predictable as possible. Tucson's back on the attack. 1v1 is going to send it all out. BYU is going to kick it out for what will be the first corner kick for Tucson. Both teams yesterday had a lot of opportunities in the corner. None of them really able to connect, though.
Yes, last night while sitting on the BYU bench, you know, Coach Gilliam was a little bit frustrated because the Cougars had a lot of corner kicks, but we just couldn't find the head. We just couldn't find someone to put it in the back of the net.
Tucson to send it in. It'll go long, but they'll come back to clear it. Come back to send it into the box. Nothing successful comes of it.
I think that's what Tucson's going to find in those corner kicks. They're going to try to find Indingi or...
Argandingi?
Argandingi, there you go.
Well, why not? If you're the tallest man on the field, I'd try to find you too.
For sure.
He's proven he's a goal scorer. Got quite a few minutes last night as well.
Almost scored one right now. So, almost scored one 5 minutes ago. So.
We apologize. We're just getting a quick fact. Something interesting about Hargandingi, since we're talking about him. He actually is part of the UVU men's soccer team. So goes all the way to Tucson, prepare and practice in the summer, and then comes back to Provo and Orem.
Yeah, we can see his dedication. You know, obviously players, college players, they like to take their summer vacations or whatnot. But Hargan Dingy, we can see he's a dedicated player, you know, plays in the PDL and during the summer league so he can prepare for the college league later in the fall. So a lot of dedication for that player.
It'll be a Tucson throw. Tucson in red, Cougars in blue. Fordham's going to throw it long to Hunter. Hunter's going to try to muscle his way around 1, 2, 3 players. That'll be a foul. The ref's going to bring him back 10 yards, but shows quite a bit of confidence from Hunter.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, just out-muscled those players. FC Tucson players got a little frustrated and just gave him a little kick.
Ball's going to go out to Jacob Miles. Jacob Miles is going to choose to go inside, is also taken out. That is the 4th foul against Tucson. And this will be a dangerous opportunity. Free kicks really change games. It's all in the details, and regardless of possession statistics or shooting statistics, it really only takes one free kick to change an entire game.
For sure. It'll be interesting to see if Fankhauser goes for goal or tries to send a pass in.
I think Fankhauser's making that decision right now as we talk about it. Fankhauser decides to go for goal. You can tell he's trying to find that near post.
Yeah.
Barasa reads it well, though.
Idea from Fankhauser.
Hargan Dingy with the ball. I imagine some of his UVU friends are probably in the stands.
Yeah.
It's a good day to watch soccer, but a hot one. You can see all the fans are wearing their shorts, T-shirts, and putting on sunblock.
Good ball from Josh.
Fankhauser on the top, entering the moon. Jake Miles is going to try to play it forward to Fankhauser, a little give and go.
Great give and go from Josh and Fank right there.
It's fun to listen to all the nicknames you have for him, right?
Yeah.
Alfie on the team here at BYU. Injured because he tore his meniscus. But nonetheless, we're happy to have him here. Gives us good insight into the game, into the players' lives.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
You can probably hear in our headset head coach Perlman, who is also the owner of FC Tucson, is yelling at his team to have better defense, to get on a man. Capisi's going to play it up wide, Fankhauser. You notice you may hear Fankhauser multiple times and that the two brothers are out there. It's a fun experience for them. He's going to try to send it along to Josh Hunter. Barasa reads it well, though, catching it and sending it out, distributing it out quickly to his midfield. But I imagine it makes a fun experience. The BYU women's soccer team also likes to have sisters on the team.
Yeah.
I don't have a sister, but I imagine it'd be fun to bring them out. Tucson's going to have their first free kick, and they're going to decide to just pass it along. Still in the back.
You can see how Coach Broman's a little bit frustrated with the team not keeping the ball.
BYU's back line's going to switch the field. That's one of the major difference between this year's team and last year's is BYU now is really focusing on building out of the back.
Yes, it's a very different topic than last year.
Tucson with a shot.
Oof.
Excuse me, Alfie, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem.
They're very different style from last year.
Yeah, very, very different style from last year. Last year we tried going a little bit more direct, you know, not building so much from the midfield, but now we can see this year how Coach Gilliam has emphasized, you know, putting 5 in the midfield, how he wants to work around the midfield and slowly progress until we get to the final third.
And it's a difficult formation to learn, but it seems as if the boys have done a good job earlier in preseason. The Cougars played some friendlies against teams like Westminster as well as the USL's Real Monarchs, all in an effort to try to learn and get better at this difficult formation. It's a high-pressure formation.
Yeah, for sure. You know, at first it's very difficult to get used to, especially when a lot of us were used to the 4-4-2 formation. It's a lot different. It's very different. It's working a lot with the midfielders. knowing everyone's role. So it makes it a little bit difficult for us as players. But, you know, this is our first year trying this formation, and it's worked out. You know, the results don't show it, but, you know, it's been a good progress, a lot of progress I've seen.
Fankhauser's going to play it around to Pemberton, and another shot by the other Fankhauser brother on the top of the box. And, you know, while the shot was nowhere near the frame, I admire his confidence to be able to take it, kind of mix it up. Majority of the goals that the BYU men's team has scored have been within the box. And so you can tell they're trying to mix it up, shoot some from outside the 18, try to get across inside the 6, all in an effort to make it unpredictable.
Yeah, we can see how those midfielders are trying to work together to get to that final third and get a shot off. So
FC Tucson's going to try to send it to Hargendingi, who, while he's a midfielder, has been playing almost like a forward. Tucson now entering the box. Tucson on your near side is going to try to cross it to Partida, who was wide open in front of the frame, but he whiffs and he doesn't get it. Horrible luck for Tucson, but the Cougars caught a good break there. Fankhauser and Kurtz are going to move it around to the midfield. Jacob Miles on the ball now. He's going to send a beautiful ball to Josh Hunter. Josh Hunter not able to get it. But a good look to be able to turn and immediately send, turn and immediately distribute.
Yeah. Like I said, Carla, we're going to see a lot of those combinations between the Fankhauser brothers, and we see that once again. So it'll be really interesting to see them throughout the whole game. Liking it so far.
Maybe it'd be better to call them by their first names, right?
Yeah, we should switch to that. Seth and Taylor.
Seth and Taylor, both from Utah. See a lot of Utah players coming here at BYU. Some from out of state, like Mitchell Scott, who has the ball now. Playing to Capisi, who we mentioned earlier was on the Samoan national team. Also on that back line, Matthew Kurtz from Nevada. So I guess you do get a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
And a long ball is going to be sent out to Tucson. Going to be on your near side corner flag. He's going to try some fancy footwork. The two are going to wrestle for the ball. And Capisi's main goal at this point is just don't let him turn. Tucson's going to try to play out wide to Partida. And a cross sent about the 18-yard box. Mitchell Scott able to get a head on it. Will it go out of bounds? No, it won't, because Connor Fordham's an Energizer Bunny.
Sure is.
Matthew Kurtz tries to send it out long, but the Tucson midfield is ready for it.
We can see a lot of high pressure from both the teams, like you said, Carlos. So.
Well, for the soccer fans watching, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Hargendingi is taken out. That'll be the second foul for the Cougars, against the Cougars. And while it's still pretty far out, this has the potential to be a really dangerous free kick.
Yeah. Especially with Harding. How do you say it, Carla?
Hargendingi.
Hargendingi. Yeah, especially with the player that tall.
Tucson to send the ball in. It's going to be at the top of the box. Capisi heads it out to Josh Hunter, who receives it. Josh Hunter with a beautiful turn.
Great turn. And
you just see him off to the races. He is ready to go as he fights his way to get the ball. Keeps it, but he and Partida, number 4 against number 4, are going to go for it. Great defense by Partida.
Great battle from both of them. Partida won it this time.
Josh Hunter in a difficult spot there. His team's back defending the free kick. He gets the ball, but it's 1v4. What do you do in a situation like that?
You know, try to just, you know, Carla, just try your best. Try to keep the ball or draw a foul.
Miles entering the box, looking to maybe get that foul. None is given, and Tucson's back on the counterattack. Really has become a game of transition. A ball sent out to Tucson. Tucson 1v1 with the keeper. And they're going to play it around. No, he's going to continue to show some discipline, some patience. And what a wasted opportunity for Tucson. Takes on the keeper 1v1 and doesn't shoot it, Alfie.
Yeah, you know, like you said, Mitch, I think The problem with him is he tries to find his teammates more than he needs to. He needs to be a little bit more selfish, and right there we can see that. Especially inside the box, you need to be selfish. So Smidge, I know he tries to find his teammates as much as he can, but you got to be selfish inside the box.
Schmidt wearing the captain's armband. Today's probably going to be seeing that one for a long time. Takes on the keeper. Showed some discipline in pulling it back and finding his teammate, but at that point, BYU had already recovered.
Yeah.
And the score remains 0-0. We're entering the 24th minute, so still a lot of soccer to be played. Both teams with opportunities here and there.
Oh, no.
Tucson's going to send another long ball to their forwards. The graduating senior, Trevor LeSure, is going to throw it out. Connor Fordham's going to play to Josh Hunter and have a little Hunter-Miles combo there. Hunter gets a little shoulder.
Tucson, very physical team.
And Alfie, if you don't mind me asking, going a little bit into the mind of the coach's corner, what were some of the advice that Coach Gilliam told the team before this match?
Just to play the same way we did yesterday, but obviously put the ball in the back of the net. Like I said last night, we got a little bit unlucky with not finding the ball in the back of the net, but the same principles. Just keep the ball moving, recover when we're on defense. And
Tucson on top of the box. Partida with the shot, and it hits the inside of the crossbar. Another opportunity. Schmidt, again, within 2 minutes has had 2 opportunities and a wide open frame looking at him, and he misses it. He goes to find the volley. He probably didn't need to hit it as hard as he did.
No, just place it.
See here, Schmidt. Osor already covering that near post, but leaves an entire 22 feet behind him in the frame.
Carlos, sometimes you end up regretting those because those goals can be a huge difference.
Oh, they change games.
Yeah.
Again, Schmidt may have another opportunity here. He's going to scissor up his player, but Kurtz is able to read it. Cougar's getting a little bit lucky in that it hit the inside of the frame. Still didn't go in, bounced around the box for a bit.
Yeah, I need to put those in the back of the net. Like I said, can change the game a whole lot.
Argandingi has the ball now. He's going to just move around his player.
Oh.
And another call has been made against the BYU Cougars.
Let's see if
Coach
that's a
Brandon
handball.
Gilliam not happy about it.
Did you see a handball, Carla?
No. Ref arguing it was a hand. And another penalty kick is going to be awarded for FC Tucson. This will be the second one within this last 24 hours. The referee arguing that it was a handball.
We'll see what his final decision is.
Difficult to say. The 2 referees are talking now because the sideline referee is saying that someone was offsides. So a lot of conflicting calls going on now. This was not uncommon yesterday. We see it here.
Let's see.
Yeah, it seemed to...
Little handball?
It hit him in the hands on the tackle. I guess it's up to the referee's discretion to see if the ball hit him as he was coming in for the tackle, but nonetheless, it did hit him in the hands. It's just one of those bad luck plays in that as you go in for a tackle, player slides it past.
Yeah.
It'll be a penalty kick for Tucson.
It's not something Tanner did intentionally. Like just something
definitely
unlucky.
an accident.
Yeah.
Just kind of bad luck.
Yeah, super bad luck. Unlucky for him.
There are some referees that wouldn't call that, saying that because it was an accident, and it kind of just is up to the referee's discretion.
Exactly. That time he decided to give them a PK.
Perez, who had a goal yesterday, is going to take the PK. He's going to shoot it, and it goes into the right corner, putting FC Tucson in the 29th minute up 1-0. A deflating PK for the Cougars here. Alfie, How do the Cougars respond to this? There's still a lot of time left on the board, but no doubt that this can be frustrating.
For sure, I think Cougars just need to keep their heads in the game. Don't let that goal get into their heads. It's still 1-0. It's anyone's game. So obviously just keep on doing what they're doing, high pressure. But like I said, the difference is to put it in the back of the net. So hopefully Josh, Miles, anybody finds the back of the net, and we'll hopefully see that.
Yesterday, Tucson also got their first goal against the Cougars on a penalty kick off of a foul, a controversial foul near the top of the box, and this one it'll be a handball near the top of the box. Sort of Whitworth to Scott. Scott's going to take a look, and he's going to send a long one in an effort to find Josh Hunter. Cougars down 1, but they haven't given up yet. They're going to look to find a ball to Peyton Pemberton. Does some shifty footwork, gets tripped up, but he continues to go, so the ref says play on. A shot from Fankhauser. It'll go over the net. Trying to find anything in that mass of red uniforms that just kind of park themselves on top of the 18.
Yeah, just got to keep on shooting. Out of 51 has to go in, so hopefully we see that here in a little bit.
Yeah, Alfie likes that percentage, 1 out of 50. Barasa will take the kick. He's going to do anything he can to just get it out of there and send it to his forwards. Pemberton's going to be taken out for a Cougar ball. You always worry about him running into that fence. Seems feet away from the field. I've seen it a couple times in the women's games where girls just fly right into it.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's a beautiful field here at Southfield. They just redid it. This is BYU's 6th game on it. Beautiful conditions to play on. A little hot, but there's a little bit of cloud cover coming in. Tucson's going to try to send it up to their forward. Schmidt with the opportunity. Misses it again. That's 3 for 3. That Schmidt has been wide open in front of the goal, or simply with Trevor Lesueur only in front of him.
Has to put him in the back of the net. Has to. It's 3 already.
Lesueur. And Tucson is back on the attack now. And they've done a good job of playing the through ball. Capisi saying, not today, no through ball on me. Maybe that's the commentator's curse, right?
Yeah, Capisi showing great defensive work. Oh.
Tucson caught in the corner flag with Capisi. The referee is going to give it to the Cougars. We're talking to the center official earlier before the game, and he had watched the match last night online. And he said he couldn't believe the amount of fouls and calls that were being made. And now we find that he's in the same position, blowing his whistle every couple of minutes. Definitely a physical game. For a referee, Alfie, that blows his whistle a lot, how does that change the game?
You just got to keep your calm and just play smart, because obviously any tackle or any hard tackle, he might give you a yellow card and maybe even a red card. So just players have to play smart and just keep their calm.
Yeah,
just keep cool.
And every referee's different, so I imagine you'd have to adapt, to each game. Some are more lenient than others. Some like to play the advantage. Garner Fordham, who usually is on the wing, is going to go down the middle. Jacob Miles is going to switch the field to Pemberton. Little skills check to Fankhauser. Pemberton with the cross. Fankhauser is going to keep fighting his way through the sandwich of red players for what will be the second corner kick of the night for BYU. And a short corner kick. We'll give it to Seth. Seth is going to rip a shot. But Asa diving to the ground to get that one.
Smart play from the Cougars. Smart play.
I don't think half of the people in the stands, including myself, was even ready for it. Pemberton is going to send it long now. He'll try to find Tanner Whitworth.
Just keeps hitting his hand
He
accidentally.
called for a handball, just bad luck.
Bad luck.
Reaching the 34th minute, and it is 1-0. Tucson scored off of a penalty kick, which was called from a handball. Tanner Whitworth dove in to try to slide tackle his player, and in doing so, the ball hit his hand. BYU to recycle the play now. And Tucson, while they've already won the division and will go on to the playoffs, still looks like they're competing. I was curious to see if before the game, if they were going to be a little complacent because they had already qualified, or if this was going to be their moment to prove, yeah, we deserve to be #1. And they've come out full forces running.
For sure. Like I said, this is good preparation for the playoffs. Obviously, they know the Cougars are a great team, so it's a good preparation game for them to get them ready for the playoffs. So they're not going to give it easy for the Cougars.
Yeah, and you see Coach Perlman for Tucson putting in kind of new players that usually come in the second half to see where they fit in with the lineup, and I'm sure that's all part of the preparation as well.
For sure. For sure.
Tucson winning a majority of the battles in the midfield. But BYU's defense has been excellent in reading things and stopping it. And the Cougars are a fun team to watch because even though they're under pressure and it's a 3v3 matchup, they're still going to pass it around as if they're playing one of those possession games you do for warm-up. Shows their excellent foot skills and first touch.
Yeah, and that's what, in practice we play a lot of small-sided games, and we can see how that's turning out here in the game. So, great ball movement from the Cougars.
Bencauser's going to look to switch the field to Kurtz, who is wide open. Kurtz seeing a lot of real estate in front of him, decides, I'm going to take it up myself. Another thing that's been exciting about this team is their ability to bring what are usually defensive players into the attack. Junior Larte is not here tonight because he's been showing signs of concussion, but he's one of those players that can start in the back, make a 60-yard run, and get a shot off in front of the goal.
For sure, especially
Bencauser with the shot. It is deflected.
Especially players like Connor Jr., they have to be in very good physical shape to be able to run up and down the field the whole 90 minutes. And that's what Coach Gilliam wants, and we can see that, like you said. Connor's just a little Energizer bunny, just going up and down the field.
No, they have to be in excellent shape, but it definitely pays off. Defenders don't expect the other team's defense to come up into the field, and it kind of creates this odd numbers game in that nobody really knows who to mark.
Yeah, soccer's changing a lot, that especially wide defenders, are required to have good technical touch, good dribbling skills like Danny Alves, Marcelo, and that's what Coach Gilliam is trying to incorporate with some of the players here. And we can see how both Keone and Fordham playing those roles, how good their touch is. So.
Matthew Kurtz past the midway stripe. He instead will choose to go back to his goalkeeper. Some good combination in the midfield. Josh Hunter, I don't think, realized he had space behind him. Nobody telling him to turn, so he's going to go back.
More talking from the Cougars.
Well, and that communication's key, I imagine.
Yeah. Sure.
You have players like Mitchell Scott who are not afraid to yell at their teammates.
Yeah.
Let them know where to go.
Yeah. Mitchell directs the whole team from the back, so it's obviously great as a soccer player to hear that, and especially like we see with Josh, when you have open space in the back and someone not telling you, it creates a little problem. But someone like Mitch telling you, hey, turn, creates a whole different game. Helps a lot.
Well, and this game has been a fast-paced one, so I imagine having a teammate telling you where to go before you receive the ball helps. Tucson's going to try to get the ball. Matthew Kurtz using some footwork. He's going to lose it to Partida. He's going to play it out wide to his forward, who is wide open. Enters the box. Shot! Trevor Lesur lets it get to the back of the net. Bad luck for Lesur, who sees it in his hand. Tucson doing a good job of getting to the far right corner.
Yeah, they're always trying to find that man, Perez. 2 goals tonight so far. So
2 goals tonight and 3 in the last 2 days.
Yeah, so obviously he's a big threat inside the box, and Cougars have to be more aware of that, close him quicker. But well done from Perez.
Wide open on that wing. What happened in the defense?
Like you said, it's a fast-paced game, and obviously we could see how fast Tucson won the ball and just went directly to Perez, and it's obviously difficult for the Cougars to regroup once they were moving up the field. So I think that's what happened. Caught them off guard.
We reached the 40th minute now, and Tucson is up 2-0. That was their 5th shot of the match. Or excuse me, that was their 7th shot of the match. Put it away. And they may have another opportunity here as a long ball is going to be sent. Lesur snags it easily, though. And just kind of bad luck. I think the ball had a weird kind of spin on it.
Yeah.
And all credit to Perez for hitting it that way, trying to get a curve around Lesur. It kind of bounces around in his arms. To be honest, when I saw it, I thought it was going out of bounds just because of our depth with the blue fence and those blue nets. I thought it was out of bounds, and we saw it roll to the back of the net. A handball for Tucson, but the ref says play on. You can hear that the Cougars are not upset with that, or excuse me, are upset with that, simply because they were called on a handball that led to the first goal of the game.
Yeah, we can see how it hit Tanner accidentally over here for also a couple minutes back, and the ref just has to be fair. Even though it didn't hit him intentionally, he did it to Tanner. So.
Well, neither of the handballs we've seen today were intentional.
Yeah, so.
On your screen there you see Perez, the goal scorer for the game. Found himself wide open at the near side of the box. Took a couple touches and then hit it with the outside of his foot.
You know, 2-0, we've seen it a couple of times, as soccer players. You can come back from a 2-0 game, so obviously there's still a lot of hope for the Cougars. So,
well, especially in the second half. Imagine right now, it's hot, people are starting to get tired. You can kind of see it in your body language on the screen. People are starting to get a bit tired here. But the Cougars will be able to go into the second half and kind of regroup, talk about a new game plan. Yeah. Tucson to take the kick. Perez with it in his lucky blue cleats. He's going to send it into the box. Mitchell Scott answers it with a header. Josh Hunter gets laid out on the ground. Still laying on the ground. You see him bent over. Hargendingi is going to kick it out of bounds as a form of sportsmanship. We hope that Josh Hunter's okay. He hit the ground hard.
Yeah, he hit the ground hard. Hit the ground hard.
See it here on the replay.
Hard fall.
Gets his feet taken out from under him, kind of lands on the Tucson player, lands on his back. Done that before, and it just knocks the wind out of you.
Yeah, it hurts.
We'll pray that he's okay. Seems to be all right, but again, doesn't feel good. And again, Hargendingi played it out of sportsmanship, and so the Cougars are going to do the same by playing it back to Tucson's keeper. Both coaches agreeing that it was a foul, something you rarely see, are both coaches agreeing with each other. Tucson now at the end line, they're going to look to pass it back. Didn't have much to look for, though, did he?
He didn't.
BYU defense doing a great job of just kind of taking up all that space. And already we see a little bit of a momentum change here in the midfield. Tanner Whitworth's looking up. He's going to look to find Josh Hunter. Those bright yellow cleats is going to try to push his way through, but instead pushes the Tucson defender. An offsides flag has been risen for Schmidt. And both teams really looking to find the long ball.
Yeah.
You imagine that'd be more exhausting.
Yeah.
Why are they trying to do it now?
I don't know. You know, obviously, like you said, it's hot, so players are showing, you know, a little bit of tiredness. So that obviously plays into play. So they're trying to play those long balls, I guess, because they're just a little bit tired and don't want to work around the midfield as much.
Josh Hunter on your screen, celebrating his senior night tonight. Got hip checked. He's probably not feeling good from getting taken out earlier and then there. Tucson and Connor Fordham.
Ooh.
And an ugly foul for Tucson. Connor Fordham and Partida both going for the ball. Partida upset between the physical match, wraps his arm around Connor Fordham. You can see it here. Brings him down. And we're starting to see a little bit of what was happening last night. A yellow card is handed to Partida. That'll be her first yellow card of the match. Now he's got to be careful.
Yeah. You know, especially if you're winning the game, you just have to stay calm. There's no need for that. And obviously, Connor, pulled his shorts a little bit. But Partida doesn't need to get that, you know. Obviously, it's frustration as a player, but it shouldn't.
Well, especially in the midfield.
Yeah.
Connor Fordham has his back to goal. He's on the midfield stripe. He's not a threat at the moment. And the referee should be blowing his whistle any minute now. We are well into stoppage time, 45th minute. The game hasn't stopped too much, so I imagine not too many minutes will be added, but Tucson's going to continue to play on. They're going to switch it to your near side. Pettis, the goal scorer, is going to play it out wide to, again, Schmidt, who is wide open on that near side. He's going to cross it in an effort to find Partida. Argendingi now. The attack on that near side is relentless. This should be the last play of the game. Really, we're entering what will be the second minute of extra time. Tucson with the corner kick is going to get it to Schmidt. Schmidt gets a head on it, and it bounces right over the crossbar. Trevor Lesor hits the ground.
Unlucky for Smitch. No, that's his fourth. So, it's unlucky for him.
And that's the end of our first half between the BYU Cougars and FC Tucson. FC Tucson 2-0. Both teams having opportunities. You may have heard it in our sets. We were laughing and joking with Coach Perlman of FC Tucson that both teams have just had opportunity after opportunity, but haven't been able to put it away. If you're Coach Gilliam right now, what are you telling your team?
You know, I think what Coach is going to tell the Cougars is, you know, just stay calm, just keep the ball moving a little bit more, and especially just try to look for the forward. Those forwards trying to make those runs into the back of the defenders in order to get some space and get a shot off. But other than that, the Cougars are keeping the ball well. They're keeping it in tight spaces. So obviously, just in the final third, just take a little bit more risk and take more shots.
Thank you. That's Alfie Gallegos here with us, giving us the analysis of this game. It's been a fun one to watch, but it's also been a difficult one to watch if you're a BYU and Tucson fan, just because there's been so many opportunities, a lot of contentious plays with the referees here. We're going to take a break, just like our team, and we'll meet you back in 15 minutes for what will be another 45 minutes of soccer.
great time to join us at the concession stand. Try all of your favorite BYU-made products like Cougar Crunch and Creamery ice cream, as well as traditional game favorites such as bottled soda and water, churros, nachos, and pretzels. Don't forget, a portion of all sales goes to support the BYU soccer program. Stay up to date with what is happening throughout the league and the PDL's top prospects at the new uslpdl.com. Download the PDL mobile app today to keep track of your favorite teams. Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike soccer information.
Cougar fans to Southfield. We're here at kickoff for what will be the last 45 minutes of the BYU season and what will be the last 45 minutes of some of the soccer careers for some of the young men here. Players like Junior Larte, Trevor LeSure, and Josh Hunter, celebrated seniors on today's night. The score is currently 2-0, favoring Tucson, who got a penalty kick early in the match, and then about 10 minutes later was able to put another one in the back of the net. The Cougars with some opportunities, but like last night, haven't been able to find the back of the net. We talked a little bit about what we thought Coach Brandon Gilliam would say, but Alfie Gallegos is here with me. He's a current player of the team. Tell us, what did he tell him?
Just keep calm. Just do what they were doing in the first half, keeping the ball movement. Just like I said, just try to find the back of the net and be a little bit more risky up top. Obviously, they're gonna have Connor go up a little bit more top, and so we'll see what happens there.
Alfie, as I'd mentioned, is a current player of the BYU men's team. He had torn his meniscus, and that's why he's not out there right now, but an experienced player has a lot to your resume here, so we're glad to have you here on the broadcast, and we welcome all those that are joining in from wherever. Hargendingi, the UVU soccer player, is going to throw in the ball. We usually find him playing up top, but it seems like he's going to be back in a defensive role for the second half. And we do have some subs that we need to mention. Number 15, Polster, was subbed out and will be done for the night. And number 20, Ramos, who played last night, an excellent game, is going to come in. Tucson's going to try to send a ball into the box, but nobody's there to receive it. And Partida, number 4, who got the yellow card in the first half, was also subbed out for Hall. For Gordon Hall, defensive player. They're going to start to play more defensive players in the back, try to maintain this 2-0 lead, which I'm guessing is all part of their strategy, Alfie. Yeah, for sure. And obviously for Tucson taking out those two players, they want to rest them up for the playoffs. And obviously Partida with the yellow card, obviously the coach doesn't want to risk it, and for him to get a red card and not be able to play, a playoff game or this upcoming Saturday game. So obviously it's a technical move. And we also see some changes from the BYU Cougars. No, definitely changes on both teams as they're preparing for the last bit. Alfie, you had mentioned that they're going to play for the playoffs game. Last night in beating BYU, Tucson locked up the championship for the division. They are the Mountain Division champs. Last night they celebrated by singing on the field. And we were curious to see if they would come into this game complacent or full of energy. And we've seen the latter. Hargendingi has the ball. His long legs seem to get away from him, but he sends the ball to the wing. A cross comes in. Fankhauser there to receive it. Yeah, like I said, FC Tucson, obviously they already won the Mountain Division conference, and obviously right now they're just looking to get ready for the playoffs, so they're fighting for that. Little tangle between those two. Tangle between Connor Fordham and the Tucson striker. We should also mention that Isaac Liptrot is coming from Mitchell Scott. Mitchell Scott, who usually plays 90 minutes of the game, has been playing a lot in the last 24 hours. BYU coaching staff deciding to give him a break. He's also doing camps, so he's a little bit tired. Can you imagine? It's exhausting. Camps. It's hot right now. Yeah. Very dry heat. For those who watch the pregame show, sorry to say that Alfie and I were sweating up a storm here under this tent. But it's better than the cold. We've had some soccer games here that are absolutely freezing. Not this season, but in past season. And I would always take this heat over the freezing cold. Maybe that's just the Colombian in me. I don't know. For sure. And we also see Jacob Bueller coming in for Matthew Kurtz. Yep, Jacob Bueller on that near side playing in a defense position. He's also one of those players that likes to come up every now and then and play an attacking role. Bueller now with the ball. Bueller just got engaged to one of my teammates, Brinley Welch. So we congratulate him on his engagement. Some fancy footwork from Tucson gets him to the end line. He's going to look to see if he can pass it back to the top of the box. Well done from Tanner. Two Fankhauser brothers are going to play with it. Send it out to Capisi.
It's also going to be interesting when they put in Jesse Hine. You know, if Coach Gilliam decides to put him in.
Well, and he had a stellar night last night.
Oh, yeah. He had, I think it's the best night that I've seen him play. So, obviously, we get a little piece of that again tonight. So, hopefully, we get to see Hine play.
Well, and good for him. It's always exciting to see a player who maybe didn't start as much or get as many minutes in the beginning of the season and just work his way through the top.
Yeah, yeah. Just a clear example. So, you know, he's a very hard-working player, so deserves it.
And it's fun to hear from you, Alfie, because you see these boys day in and day out in soccer practice as well as their preseason. You'll be playing with them next year. Jacob Bueller, in an effort to keep things safe, is going to play it back to his goalie. But Connor Fordham is on the ground. It seems that he got kicked. I didn't see what happened, Alfie, did you?
I didn't either. No.
A lot of fast play going on. Connor Fordham obviously in some pain. We'll see it here on the replay. Oh, it seems like he twisted his ankle.
Yeah, I think his ankle got cut up there, right?
Oh, that does not feel good.
Yeah.
A high ankle sprain.
Yep. Seems to be okay.
BYU with an excellent medical staff. Coming out there to check to see how he's doing. He's going to sit on the sidelines for a little bit. They're going to test out his range of motion. And it wasn't really a dirty play. It was just kind of as he was falling, he landed kind of weird on it.
Wrong.
Landed forward on it.
Yeah.
Fankhauser's going to enter the midfield. Connor Fordham, who we just saw on the ground moments later, throwing the ball in. So he seems to be okay. Probably a pretty tough kid playing through that. Hargan Dingy, the attacking player, now gone defense. And a long ball is going to send out to Ferrer. And this really has been a game of transitions. It seems like it'll be on one end of the field, and then some crazy transition will happen, and it'll be on the other end of the field. Really a counterattacking, almost exhausting style of soccer.
Yeah, super exhausting, you know, especially for the defending side of other both teams. So, you know, the second half's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and it's those plays and transitions that can really kill you.
Yeah.
You know, soccer is a game of details. It's one of those crazy sports. There's very few sports where the team that possesses the ball the most doesn't win it. The team that shoots the most doesn't win it. You rarely see that in any other sport. But soccer can be cruel sometimes.
It can. It can.
Something we've seen a lot this game. For those who are joining in with us in the second half, is both teams have been sending a lot of long balls, sometimes characterized as the track meet soccer. And again, while they've had success, we see the referee fall down for the second time in this game. Bless his heart.
A little bit funny, but.
Alfie, as one of the players on the team, thinks it's hilarious every time a ref falls down.
Sure is.
And that will be the first foul against the Cougars for the second half.
Oh. Seems Tanner tripped him.
Well, he has a lot going on in his mind. It's been a lot of physical play here.
Yeah.
Tucson will take the kick. And a lot of players lining up on the 18 in an effort to give LeSource some sort of space. It'll also be LeSource's senior night here at BYU. And a kick in by Tucson to the top of the box. It's met by a head of 3 BYU players. A lot of crowded space going on there. Tiki-taki soccer. Fankhauser is fouled, and it'll be Well, we thought it would be a quick restart.
Seth, even though he's small, he puts his body in there. You see a lot of that from Seth. Good little player.
Just see Seth there going in for a tackle. Aiden Pemberton with the ball. He's going to try to chip one over to Jake Miles. Jake Miles takes a little too heavy of a touch, but that's a very difficult ball to bring down. And the man we were talking about earlier, Hein, coming up to the mid-stripe. Appears he's going to be checking in. Or excuse me, not Hein, Guthrie. I was wondering, that doesn't look like him.
Goose.
I was going to say, that doesn't look anything like him. I got my numbers mixed up.
They call Guthrie Guth.
Christian Guthrie.
Ooh.
But he'll have to wait on his substitution as a call is going to be made. A yellow card is going to be given to Jacob Bueller. Jacob's first 16 minutes of this match, and he'll have a card. Guthrie's going to sub out for Peyton Pemberton.
See that? Oh.
He gets rocked pretty hard. Josh Hunter got taken out earlier in the first half, got the air knocked out of him. And we see this here with the Tucson player, except this time it's far more dangerous. He's right on top of the moon. Really a straightforward shot. Jacob Bueller's going to have to be careful now as he has a yellow card to his name. Sir, organizing his wall. It seems to be a really close wall. Shot's gonna be taken, it's gonna hit the wall. Liptrot had one job in that situation and he did it. Stand in way of the goal. Lets it hit him in the chest. And BYU seem to be on to the counterattack. But Barasa's gonna get back to it. And I imagine being in that wall can sometimes be a scary place to be.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, you have to be very brave to be in the wall.
I'm a forward and one of the smaller players on the team, which means I always end up being in the wall. I always being on the end of the wall where everyone shoots it.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
Tucson's going to enter the box, and another opportunity, a shot!
Great save.
Osura meets it, has an answer for it. And he's going to send it long, get it out of here, he says, to Josh Hunter. But Josh Hunter's all alone. It's a 1v3 situation. Guthrie now is going to get his first touches of the match. They're going to be successful in his pass to Taylor Fankhauser. Tucson's going to move it around their midfield. For Air with it now. Ferrer's another one of those players that I just saw on the wing seconds ago, and he runs center. Seems to be everywhere on the field and gets a lot of touches on the ball.
Smidge working hard.
Two players are going to go for the ball, and it'll be out of bounds. It'll be a Cougar ball. And another substitute. That is Christian Guthrie on your screen, right in front of us. And the sub, number 16, Eric Yerdgen. And coming out for him to put his boots up for the night will be Georges, who had several opportunities this half, but just wasn't able to put it away. Trevor Lasser with those quick reflexes. And really, BYU, while they had a lot of opportunities in the first half, so far reaching 15 minutes into the game, and they haven't had many opportunities. What do you attribute that to, Alfie?
I don't know. I think Tucson just it's just being very compact in defense, just very organized. So I think it's hard for the Cougars, to penetrate through that defensive shape that the Tucson players have, and it's been very difficult for them. Like I said, Tucson's not making it easy for the Cougars, and it sure is showing in their defensive side.
You saw in that replay right there how compact. Alfie was talking about how there just seems to be red players everywhere. You see in that replay, it's difficult for BYU to try to get anything simply because once you enter the box, there's 3 or 4 players around you.
Yeah. Tucson's playing very organized defense, so it's hard for the Cougars to get through them.
Cougars are going to take a free kick. What appears to be 10, 15 yards outside the box. Connor Fordham fakes like he's going to take it. Josh Hunter rips one. What a shot. Goes to the far post.
Great rip. Great shot.
Great hit by Josh Hunter. We said at the beginning of the game that he's a man of free kicks, and we see it there. See it on the replay. Josh Hunter just hits it with his laces. Barasa goes airborne trying to get that ball. What a great free kick. Lip trot.
This is Lip Trot's first year, so it's a good experience for him to get on the field, get a little bit of minutes to get him ready for next season.
Yeah, and it's good for him, to be working with such experienced players and players that have not only been here for a long time, but are leaders out there.
Exactly.
A long ball's being sent out to Connor Fordham. Connor Fordham, who's battling a sprained ankle right now, fighting for every single ball. Spoken to Coach Gilliam last night after the game, and what I thought he would be upset because they had lost, but instead he said that he was very happy with how the boys had played. He said that he knew that they were giving 110% for all 90 minutes of the match. They had given everything he got, and that's really all he could ask of them. They played smart soccer, possessed well. They just couldn't get the result that they wanted.
Yeah, and honestly, the 2 years that I've been here, it's been one of the best games that I've seen us play. And unfortunately, like I said, we just couldn't hit the back of the net, but it was a great game played from the Cougars last night. Unfortunately, the score doesn't show that.
We're approaching the 63rd minute of the match. Tucson is up 2-0. But the BYU Cougars, they're relentless. I think they still believe they've got it in them. You can still feel the energy and the emotion in there. They're still giving the fans something to watch. Tucson's going to try to get on top of the box. An offsides flag is going to go up, and the referee will call it. BYU's just done a great job of holding that offside trap, that defensive line. It hasn't been something I've seen a lot this season, but already in this game, there's been 3 or 4 opportunities that Tucson's have, and they've been called offsides.
Yeah, great organization from Liptrap.
Tucson up top. Tucson's going to look to play it back into the back of the net. We thought that maybe he was going to try to get the pass, but instead, number 9 for Air decides that he's going to take it himself. It goes up, hits the top netting. Kind of, again, another defensive breakdown on the side.
Unlucky. Good goal.
Trevor Lesueur does everything he can to guard that near post, take up as much space as possible. That puts the score at 3-0 in the 64th minute of the match. Cougars at a deficit now with still a lot of game to go. How do you keep your momentum and spirits high?
Right now it's a little bit difficult for the Cougars. Obviously, 3-0, it's hard to come back from a 3-0 lead, but it's not something impossible. It's happened before. The first step is just getting that one goal. Then after that one goal, just working it your way up to get a second goal, and
There really is some skill in living in the moment and just focusing on getting one. You still want to work hard, still have some pride, right? And represent the fans who have coming, as well as the seniors who will be there last night here, and they have a lot to be proud of.
Carlin, I think as players, even though if we lose a game 3-0 or 4-0, or if we're losing a game that much, at least get a goal in, for pride and honor. So.
Tucson will take the throw in. And a big shout out to the ball boys helping out. BYU loves to have some of the local club teams come help out with their games. BYU gets involved with the community a lot. Not only is BYU a global school with alumni from all over the world, but they like to get involved with some of the local kids that live just a few blocks from the stadium.
Yeah, you know, I've had the opportunity to talk to a few kids from local clubs, and they look up to us a lot. So it's a great experience for these ball boys or for other young players to see us play. So,
as we had mentioned earlier, BYU has been working the soccer camps, and not only do they teach them foot skills, but they emphasize virtues such as hard work and honesty. And so you're right, I think a lot of players really look up to this BYU team.
yeah.
Another handball is going to be called against BYU. That has been another source of contention here in the game, and that all of BYU's handballs have been called and none of Tucson's have.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's unlucky. That's just how soccer goes sometimes. You know? Referees just see something different from the players, and yeah, unlucky.
Feel free to tell us your thoughts. You can comment at BYU Soccer on their Facebook or Twitter page, or tweet at me, CarlitaSO7. I tell you to give your thoughts to Alfie, but he hasn't yet entered the Twitter world. Maybe we'll make him a believer tonight.
Yeah, just Instagram and Facebook, sorry.
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Last night, heard from a bunch of people talking about their predictions for the game. Many of them were correct. Schmidt, who has had 4 opportunities in a wide open frame tonight, but hasn't seemed to be able to put it away. We were joking with the coach earlier that he's an amazing player, gets all these opportunities, does the hard stuff of getting in front of the goal, and then the easy tap he hasn't been able to do. Sometimes that's the life of a striker.
Yeah.
You're either on or you're not.
Exactly.
Sometimes everything you touch is gold.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mitch, unlucky. Unlucky today not getting a goal. Hopefully his hard work pays off a little bit.
Tucson's going to move it around from side to side. And a fast break forward. Herrera's a name you've been hearing a lot tonight. Ball's going to be switched to the other side, but a bad first touch means that Christian Guthrie is going to get the ball. The ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be a BYU free kick. We'll see it on a replay here. Perez and Fankhauser collide. Guthrie to Fankhauser. But he's caught between the tall Hargan Dingy. And Hargan Dingy, who's a defensive player, is on to goal. He cuts in front of his player. He gets to the end line. Tried to get a cross off. I don't think he got the power on it that he wanted. You could hear the bench next to him. Oh, he had a lot of space, but just doesn't hit it.
Yeah.
I imagine Liptrott's pressure on him probably affected some of the power he got. As we joke in the women's league, he hit it with his purse.
You can hear the FC Tucson staff just saying, you know, make them run, just keep the ball. So.
Well, and at this point, you're winning 3-0. The biggest thing you can do is possession, right? Possession is the best defense.
Yeah, for sure.
Two teams, looks like it's a pinball match out there. And Seth Fankhauser, who's played every minute of this game so far, doesn't seem to be running out of energy. Guthrie's going to play it long to the other Fankhauser. See another player who's in. Pinheiro, who's a forward. Sorry we missed that substitution. He scored a goal last night. And I'm sure he's looking to get another one. Josh Hunter also has eyes for the net. He's going to take a shot.
He wants a goal his senior night. He's looking for it.
And that's what you want out of your team. You want, right? The ideal striker is one who's willing to shoot from anywhere, who's always hungry for a goal. Caught goal-minded in soccer.
Yeah. Josh is always looking for a goal, and last season I think it was one of his best ones scoring-wise. Had a great season last year. This season hasn't been his best scoring-wise, but hopefully he gets a goal in today.
Jake Miles is going to get in a little tussle, but the ref says play on, so Josh Hunter's going to take it. He's going to look for another shot that goes over the frame into the trees. The ball boy's chasing after that one. But you're right, I think he's looking for that goal, and he's going to say, I'm going to take every shot and every opportunity that I get.
And in comes Jesse.
We had said his name earlier, Jesse Hine, coming in. Alfie told me that he thinks yesterday was the best game that Hine has played. We'll see if he can top that today. Coming into the midfield for Seth Fankhauser.
Seth had a good game. He had a good game. He just came out of injury, so to get him back into playing and playing this much, it was a solid game from Seth. I liked what I saw in him today, and yeah.
Well, and I imagine you're fighting injury right now. There's also a mental aspect of it. It's not just, physically. There's a mental aspect to being injured, and that it's sometimes difficult to come back because you don't want to get hurt again, and you don't know if you want to go into those tackles.
Exactly.
The referee has given a yellow card to goalkeeper Barasa for Tucson, saying that he's been wasting time, which is a yellow card in the PDL, but is a very common part to the game. It's just part of the game, the aspect of time management, time wasting. BYU's done it as well. BYU did it in their very first game when they played against FC Tucson and won. And Liptra, you said was also a young player, looks very comfortable back there.
He does. He's barely, 20 years old, barely came out of his mission. He's looking comfortable, and obviously as time goes by in his career, he's going to get more comfortable, and it's good to see him play.
Coming off that 2-year mission that we mentioned earlier, for 2 years he did not play soccer, but instead was serving 2 years for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now he's come back, trying to get back in shape, play at this high PDL level. And Hines, with his first touches on the ball, says, I'm going to take it myself. He's going to get it. He's going to enter the box. He's going to have a 1v1 with the goalie, slide in. Barasa's there to meet at Hines, still on the ground. Barasa doing a good job of just making himself as big as possible. And good work on Hine, getting himself into the box.
Yeah. He almost got it.
For a lot of players, when they've been sitting on the bench and they come in, it usually takes them a couple minutes to get in the rhythm. But Hines seemed ready to go from the minute he stepped on.
Yeah. Yesterday he came off a really good game and wants to prove it again that, it just wasn't coincidence that he's a good player, and he is.
The wind is starting to blow a little bit. What were the hot 90, 100 temperatures earlier today starting to cool down as there's some cloud cover. It was actually predicted by the weatherman here in Utah that it would rain. But we're lucky enough to have cloudy but clear skies. Clear of rain, I should say. Cloudy but clear of rain. The wind's starting to pick up a bit as these players start to pick up their energy, playing it around the back line. And soccer really is a game that energy kind of ebbs and flows. It gets high and gets low. Right now we're kind of in that high energy moment where people are yelling at each other and pushing each other over. The ball is going to be sent to the corner, your far corner. And Tucson's going to decide it's not there, so we're going to move it around to the other corner. All in an effort to get space. Herrera is going to get a cross into the top of the 18. Two people go up for it, but Lasser just snags it right out of the air, makes it look easy. Height was a gift I wish that I had developed when I was a young girl.
Same. Not that tall myself.
How tall are you, Alfie?
I am 5'9".
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So, not short, but
In soccer terms, that's not too bad. A game
not too
played
bad.
on the ground.
No.
Some of the best players in the world are short.
Yeah. You know, Messi.
You know, Messi's the perfect example. And BYU is going to move it around the midfield and find it, get out of those possessions, unlock the group, and they're going to play just that high-pressure possession. You see 3 attacking players trying to attack Barasa. He's going to just clear it out. And sometimes that's the best thing to do as a defender when a lot of things are going on, there's a lot of chaos, just clear it out.
Just clear it. Just clear it. Don't play with it. Just clear it.
And really, you can see on your screen, and as we look on the field, there just seems to be so many red jerseys. Tucson playing it smart by trying to push everybody back. It's a more conservative style of soccer. How does it affect the play for BYU trying to go through this mass Tucson team?
It's difficult, obviously, because for the Cougars, they just want to get a goal in, and obviously, a lot of frustration enters into the player's mind. You just can't get through. You just can't get through the defense. But they can't forget about the defensive shape or whatnot, because a counterattack can kill the Cougars. So you have to be careful with that too.
Is there a way to get around just the congestion in the midfield?
There is. Just those quick give and goes, small combination plays. But obviously, a defense as tight as Tucson's, it's a little bit more difficult, but not impossible.
And especially a talented team like Tucson, we had mentioned earlier that they had won the division. Came out with a lot of points, top of their bracket. The first 3 teams in the bracket just got a lot of points. Really racked them up mid-season. BYU at the lower half of the bracket. A foul will be called. Against Hargendingy. Didn't believe it was yellow card worthy. We'll look at it here. Seems to pull his arm back. Correct, I don't know if that was worthy of a yellow card. Definitely a foul, and a shot by Fankhauser. And Tucson's coach also talking with the referee, asking us if it's really yellow card worthy, because that'll put Hargendingy in the book. Alfie, you've played against top players before. What do you think?
About the yellow card, or?
About that big yellow card coming up. Definitely puts him in a tough spot, especially as he's a defensive player.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a yellow-worthy card for me, but I think he's had 3 or 4 little fouls on him. So obviously, just the ref just cautioned him a little, to play a little bit more calm. But it wasn't a yellow-worthy card. But I think those fouls leading up to it, yeah, that's why I think he gave him the yellow card.
Alfie here thinking that maybe it's a group of calls coming together.
Yeah.
Try to send a message, and that's definitely what the ref has been doing tonight. Calls for both sides. A handball call that gave Tucson the first goal. And we'll see another sub coming on for Tucson. Kareem Banton, who played almost the full game yesterday. Number 5 on his screen has just come in. He's another one of those physical players. And Josh Hunter is going to be called for, Tucson is going to be called for a foul against Josh Hunter. Josh Hunter just showing his wheels. He decides to get the ball and go on. Another yellow card is shown. Good on Josh Hunter to just get the ball and go.
Exactly, yeah. It's a good battle from them too.
And sometimes that's part of the life of a striker. Sometimes if you know you're not going to get it, oh, he got taken out hard there. Sometimes you know you're not going to get it, you figure I'm just going to run as fast as I can, hope that I either get the ball first and make my defender make a decision or get taken out.
Yeah. Connor's going to take this.
Boredom on the ball. Very comfortable on the ball. He scored several PKs.
Yeah.
Coach Gilliam says he's one of the most confident players on the team. We have a 5-man wall He's going to chip it over the wall,
Goal.
into the
What
back
a
of the
goal.
net. Golazo for
Oy.
BYU.
Golazo. What a goal.
1-3, what happened there? Beautiful, right, Alfie?
Amazing goal by Connor. And like you said, very talented player, a lot of confidence and great technique. Great technique. You see, he doesn't hit it
All
hard.
finesse.
Doesn't hit it hard, just places it. Great goal.
What happened there for the Cougars? We love it. 1-3, still 2 goals behind Tucson, but it definitely puts a smile on the crowd's face, makes Connor
sure.
Fordham feel good, and really, it's unlikely, but in 10 minutes, anything can happen. It takes
For
1
sure.
second to score a goal,
Yeah.
and that goal, it changes the rhythm of the game.
Yeah, and like I told you, just Cougars wanted to get that 1 goal, and right now it's going to be a whole different game, so.
Well, the energy definitely has changed here at Southfield. They always say the first 5 minutes after a goal is when you have to be the most careful because both teams have so much energy. Banton now is going to get it. He's going to try to respond. Pierno is going to go for it. Or excuse me, Pinheiro. I should know his name better by now, in that yesterday he played a lot of minutes and had a lot of opportunities in front of the frame. He's another one of those big strikers. You can tell Tucson likes their physical players. Herrera's going to be looking to take the kick. As we approach the last 10 minutes of the match, he's going to send it long. Connor Fordham, who scored the goal, the hero in the 88th minute, is going to clear it out. And it's always exciting to see a player like Fordham get a goal because he's such a hard worker. And there he is again on the opposite side of the field to clear it out.
Yeah, Connor for sure has been, if not the best, one of the best players on our team this year. And last year, yeah, he was one of our best players, but this year I think he's really stepped it up, and he shows that he's not only a good defender, but that he can also score some goals. So good for him.
I will say most of the interviews I've had with Connor Fordham have usually been after a goal, and I always ask him, what were your thoughts about the goal? And he's always asking, which one? Which one? He scores a lot of them. Hear Alfie and I's voice starting to wane a little bit as we've also been working those youth camps all week. Been coaching children.
A lot of screaming.
A lot of screaming. I apologize if I squeaked into your microphone right there. We've also been busy just playing soccer all day, living the dream. Tucson's going to go to get a shot. It is going to hit the side of the goal, and that'll be a BYU goal kick. Sir, the graduating senior is going to look to send along to his forwards, and he's done a pretty good job of it. Of the past 5 kicks he sent, they've met either Jacob Miles or Josh Hunter. I'd be interested to see afterwards what his percentages are.
Yeah, Josh is working really hard, even though he hasn't gotten his goal. Our goal came off because of him, so he's having a good night.
Yeah, and that has to be included. While your name may not be on the statistic, Josh Hunter can always say that he helped create the goal that really changed the momentum for the Cougars. He's going to look to get another one. He enters the box. He tries to flip it back to Jacob Miles. Shows how selfless he is. Guthrie is going to play it to the top now. Top of the moon to Fankhauser to Josh Hunter on top of the box. Josh Hunter to rip one. It's going to hit a hand. The sideline referee is going to call it offsides. Another handball here. You can see Josh Hunter's almost laughing at the fact of just how unlucky they've been with these handball calls.
Yeah.
See it here. Josh, great job faking his defender. Gets a little window.
Jesse.
Power header by Liptrot. Hine turns to switch the field to Guthrie, who loses it for a second but is going to fight to get it back. Schmidt with the ball now. He's going to send a beautiful ball out to Banton. Banton getting to the end line, crosses it, It deflects off Capisi and right into the hands of Lesueur. When what could have been a way more dangerous ball.
Yeah. PC, great defensive work tonight. Stopped a few counterattacks, so he's been playing well tonight. Isaac moving up the field a little bit.
Whitworth is going to try to find the feet of Fankhauser, who's going to try to find his forward up top. Hine trying to bring it down again. That's a difficult ball, chest high, while you're also moving a million miles an hour towards the keeper. Hine's one of those speedy players that when he turns on the jets, he turns them on.
Yeah.
Leaves a line of smoke behind him.
Tucson wasting time.
The ref's telling him to speed it up. El Gallo had the ball first, as nicknamed. And he's going to give it off to Herrera. As the throw-in comes in, it'll be a BYU free kick. A lot of fouls in this game again. But still, the emotions are lower than they were yesterday. And I imagine that has something to do with the coaching staff. Nice first touch by Fankhauser. Is going to get the ball to Guthrie. And he's going to get it again. Again, lots of energy from these BYU Cougars. About 3 minutes left in the match, excluding any extra time, but there hasn't been too many stops in the play. A yellow card here or there maybe accounts for 30 seconds, so I'll be surprised if the referee adds too much time. Tucson's going to try to send it in.
Tucson fighting for that fourth goal.
Yeah, and it's exciting to watch. Most teams, once they get three, kind of just push everybody back and just try to hold their line for 3 or 4 minutes, but Tucson's thinking that they want to rack up as many goals as possible here. Pinheiro trying to get on the end of that. Can see him in your screen with the blue cleats at the bottom. That beautiful Utah sunset. And Lesueur's thinking, I'm not going to waste any time. He's going to get it to his defense to build out of the back. And it really is go time for these Cougars.
For sure. Trying to find that second goal.
Josh Hunter to play it out to Fordham. Fordham into Hine, but Tucson reads it. Sends it long in an effort to get a counterattack by Pinheiro. Pinheiro still with the ball. He's going to try to cut in front of his defender. He's successful. He goes for the shot, puts it in the back of the net. And that really will be the nail in the coffin. Pinheiro, a substitute in the second half, is able to just swim his way up around Liptrot and shoots it to the far post.
Yeah, great work, you know. Fought off Liptrot right there, we can see. Physical work and good shot.
And how much of that is speed? How much of that is physicality? How much of it is touch?
I think it's both speed and physicality. You know, we can see how he fights through Liptrot. And unfortunately for Liptrot, he got through him. And, you know, Alfonso, he has a great physical body, so it's hard to stop a forward like that. Super hard. Josh coming out.
Josh Hunter coming out, the senior. He gets a big round of applause from the fans. Josh Hunter not only played well tonight, but has played well his entire career here at BYU.
He had a great career.
Ace Phillips will come in for him to play the last remaining minutes of the game to give the Cougars any sort of little bit of energy or spark.
Like you were saying, you know, Josh had a tremendous career. He should have his head held high, really high. He's a great player, great person. You know, like I said, he's a very close friend of mine, and he's helped me out so much. Oh, come the Cougars.
Fordham now going to try to get it back to Jake Miles. Tries to get a shot off.
Unlucky.
It's unlucky. Sometimes you go for the ball and it hits your other leg. It even happens to the pros. It happens to the best of them.
Unlucky. So like I was saying, Josh, great person, great individual.
You know, I've
Wish him
heard
the
that
best
from
of luck.
multiple people. Heard that from multiple people at the beginning of the season. I got to talk to Grant Drivas, who is out on an ACL knee, crazy injury, and he said the same thing, that Josh Hunter is one of those players who, when he injured himself, when he got injured, he's playing soccer. Josh was one of those players that took him aside and really befriended him and helped him out and was there for him.
Yeah, Josh is a great friend on and off the field. So, like I said, I wish him the best of luck in his business career or whatnot. So, best of luck for Josh.
And we're approaching what will be the final minutes, not only of this game and of the BYU season, the final minutes of the career for the three seniors, Trevor Lusur, Josh Hunter, who just came out, as well as Junior Larte, who unfortunately can't be in this game because he shows signs of concussion. Better to be safe. He's also one of those bright kids who you want to keep that brain safe, but a shot by Fankhauser really came out of nowhere. But we wish a best of luck to those seniors. The team will definitely be a different one next year, but I have no doubt that the coaching staff is already recruiting and has already have great players coming in.
For sure.
Alfie will be there next season, so you can be sure that we'll be calling his name. He'll be out on the pitch.
Thank you, Carla.
Barasa is going to try to play along. And that 98th minute goal by Pinheiro will change the momentum for Tucson. You can see him already preparing for the end of the match. But one of the things that I love, Alfie, about this BYU team is that this isn't the first time that they've been down in a game, and yet they still keep fighting.
Yeah.
You can tell they haven't given up yet.
Yeah, one thing that Coach Gilliam tells us, fight until the end, fight until the final whistle. So you can see a clear example of that. It's a lot of pride. So it's a great season from the Cougars.
Cougars will end the season with 4 wins. 4 wins, 6 losses, and 4 ties. While they will not qualify for the playoffs, it shows improvement from the last season, as this is still a very young team. Another offsides call will be made here. And really should be any minute now. We've already gone into what'll be our 3rd minute of stoppage time. The second offsides call in the last minute or so. And a lot of that offsides just comes from discipline. I imagine a lot of them are tired now.
Yeah.
You're not watching your line as much as you were in the first 10 minutes of the game.
And obviously for Tucson, they're like, we're winning 4-1. So.
Yeah, it doesn't seem they're too worried about it. And the referee's going to make a call.
Free kick.
Free kick, I had wondered if it was inside the box.
Let's check
Line
the replay.
fell several feet inside the box, but the referee's going to say it was outside. We'll look here.
Yeah, just a little bit
Just outside,
Yeah.
he gets tripped up. Tries to take on 3 players and is almost successful in it. Again, this should be what is one of the last plays of the match. Jake Miles is going to try to send it in quickly to Bueller, who shoots. Comes off the player for a BYU corner kick. Bueller usually finds himself in the back. Takes a shot on goal. His first shot of the game.
Yeah.
Jake Miles.
Great read from Jake Miles. I don't know if that was intentional from Ace, but sure worked out.
Sometimes it works out that way. Jake Miles thinking quick and light on his feet. Hines will take the ball, or will take the kick. He's going to send it in.
Bueller again.
Bueller gets at the little bit of his afro. I'm always curious to see how high he can grow that thing. And that will be the end of the game and the end of the season for BYU. FC Tucson again successful for the 2nd day in a row. 4-1, some beautiful goals, a penalty kick, and BYU also putting one away. Connor Fordham with a beautiful goal.
Beautiful goal. Beautiful free kick.
A good game for the Cougars again and a good season for them. Tell us, what are your thoughts, Alfie?
You know, like I said before, and like I will always say, you know, sometimes the score doesn't show how good a team is. And like I said, a lot of players from the Cougars, you know, they've been working the sports camp today, and obviously they're a little fatigued, especially from the game last night as well. So, but it was a great game, and like we said, they fought to the end. But unfortunately, you know, didn't get a win. But you know, they're still a great team, and you know, hope to catch us next season and hopefully make it to the playoffs next season.
That's Alfie Gallegos, current player on the BYU soccer team. I'm Carla Swinton-Haslam. Want to thank all of you for joining in with us and for joining in for the rest of this season. It's been a great time. We've seen a lot of support from fans everywhere, from those who have not only come to the games but have donated to the team. We've seen a great support, and so we thank you, all the soccer fans that are out there. We thank the PDL for their excellent help, league management or organization. And as always, a special thanks to the BYU squad, those that are on the field, as well as those that are in the production booth. Again, they just make it happen, make it run so smoothly. They're the ones that deserve the credit, as well as this BYU soccer team and the seniors who have had an excellent career. Again, we thank you for joining us tonight. Have a good evening, and we'll catch you next season.